Hello. How I balance police work with my love life, friends, family is what I'm going to talk about today. I've had a few questions on how the heck do you balance all of it? And that's a good question because this job is very involved. It takes up a lot of our time. It is unpredictable, to say the least. So my biggest tip is to have people in your life that support what you do and support law enforcement in general. Because if they don't support the job, they don't support police officers, it's gonna make it very difficult. I am going to share how I try to balance everything while being a police officer. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do before you leave. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor, Rose Forever. They last for up to a year, which actually I've had mine way longer than a year and they're still in the best condition. Look at how beautiful these are. I love them so much. This is the suede black box with the white roses. And if you guys are familiar with my channel or any of my social medias, you know that this is always under here. I just think that it looks so sophisticated, so cute, and perfect for this kind of table, any kind of table, to just take it to the next level. Roses are handcrafted, 100% allergen free. They last up to a year. Mother's Day is coming up. This is a perfect gift, and they come in a variety of different containers. Roses all come in a bunch of different colors. Just adds a nice touch to your space. Absolutely love these roses, and you guys should definitely check them out. I will have all the information listed in the description box. So thank you so much to Rose Forever. Let's talk about family. I have a very good family, and I never take that for granted. I'm always so blessed and so thankful for the family that I have. I'm grateful enough to say that my family usually takes my schedule into consideration, which is lovely. That is so nice of them. I'm just very grateful that my family is supportive of what I do and is supportive of law enforcement. It means everything. I can't explain how much that actually helps when you are a police officer nowadays in 2022, because it is the worst time to be a cop right now. My family is understanding. They usually ask me when I'm available in order to do family related things. Working on holidays really sucks for me. It's a hard thing to do because, again, I am such a family-oriented person. I love hanging out with my family. So whenever anything goes on where I have to miss a family event, it makes me sad, don't get me wrong. But I know that down the road, I'll be able to hang out with them again, or I'll be able to go to the next event. So that's kind of how I'm able to cope with it. And for holidays, for the last 5 years of being a police officer, I've worked on holidays. This year, which is going into my 6th year, I finally have holidays off. That's just how the schedule works. But the previous years, it's hard, especially for Christmas. The way that I've dealt with it is by asking anyone if they can switch with me on holidays, specifically just Christmas, because Christmas is such a big deal for me and my family. We just go all out and we always have a nice Christmas morning together, and I hate missing out on that. Last year it was a little difficult because everyone had COVID, so we weren't even able to celebrate Christmas anyways. But typically I do work on Christmas, and I have asked guys that I'm friends with if they're able to switch with me, and they're very nice enough to agree with it because they either don't have anything going on until later in the day, or they're just not getting together with their family until later on, so they agree with switching with me, which is very, very sweet. I'm so grateful for that. First couple of years that I was actually a police officer, I missed a lot of stuff because my schedule was all over the place. I tried to make it work the best that I can. Like I said, obviously it does suck missing stuff here and there, but you got to remember that you signed up for this job. So you're well aware that you might miss things here and there. They taught us that in the academy, where you're not always going to see your family on holidays. You have to work weird hours all the time. It's just something that we sign up for, and unfortunately is something that is beyond our control. Yes, there's certain things that we can do in order to maybe remedy the situation, such as asking someone to switch shifts or taking a vacation day if you have seniority or whatever, but you have to work up to that point. Once I went to days, it became a lot easier because I work 7 to 3, and usually everything goes on after 3 o'clock. So maybe bidding for a shift that you think would work best for your schedule, whenever you and your family and friends hang out, bid for that schedule. Typically for us, we put a bid in at the beginning of the year and it goes by seniority. So I chose to stay on days this year because it works best with my schedule. Say your family usually gets together in the middle of the day. Just try to see if you can go into afternoons. Again, it goes by seniority. My first couple of years, I wasn't able to pick my shift because I did start off part-time, then I went into full-time. So it might take a couple years, but again, that's just the cards that you're dealt, and that's what we signed up for, unfortunately. Sundays are a big deal in my family, and I love Sundays. Sunday in general is my favorite day of all time. Just because it just reminds me of getting together with family, making dinner, having wine. It's just such a good time. I love Sundays, and unfortunately I miss a lot of Sundays with my family. I get together with them after work, so I only get to see them for an hour at a time. But again, I have a rotating schedule, so every 4 weeks I have Sundays off 2 weeks in a row, which is really nice because then I just get to spend the time with my family. But that's a bummer to me that I have to miss Sundays, Sunday dinner on the regular. I just try to make it work. I just spend time with my family once I get out. Let's talk about friend time. Most of my friends, again, try to work around each other's schedules, so then we know who can hang out, who can't, and we usually make plans based on who's available. This is another reason why the day shift really works in favor of my schedule, because typically everyone hangs out after 3 o'clock. Balancing friendships, to me, I don't think is that hard. Was it hard at first? Yes, because I mean, not everyone likes police officers, unfortunately. So have I lost a couple of friends on the way through this journey? Yes, but did I need them to begin with? Clearly not. If they're not going to support me in my career, I don't need those kind of people in my life. We deal with so much out on the street and in this job. I do not need the negativity outside of work. I cannot have it. That seriously affects your mental health, and your mental health is everything. So if you have people that do not support your decision to go into law enforcement, you don't need those people in your life, because they're just going to make it worse, and it's going to be such a burden and a stressor on you, and you don't need that on top of everything else that we're going through in law enforcement. If it's your parents, then that's a different story. You might want to sit them down and say, hey, this is my dream, this is my passion. As my parent, I hope that you can understand that, and I hope that you can support me in a way where you feel comfortable. As far as like balancing hanging out with them, I usually have no issue with that, because I'll take vacation time if I need to, with friends and family, if we want to take a trip or if we want to plan something, and typically it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, but you just got to roll with the punches. It's all about being flexible. Being friends with people who support what you do is such a game changer, because if you just have all the negativity when you go to work, and then when you get out of work and you need to decompress and you still have that negativity from your friends, That is not going to be okay. It is going to drive you into the ground. It is going to make you feel like crap, and it's going to destroy your mental health. So please, for the love of God, this is the biggest thing that I've learned. You need to have supportive people in your life. You need to, or else you're just going to feel alone and you're not going to have anywhere to turn, and that's not okay. Because when we get out of work, we need to decompress. We need to not take work home with us. That's why at home, it's like my little sanctuary. I just like to create a calm, soothing environment, and I have 2 dogs that bring a lot of joy to my life. So I definitely recommend setting up an area where you feel comfortable, relaxed, and you're just able to let go. So if your friends can't do that for you, you really need to consider either having a chat with them or cutting them out of your life, because you do not want negativity outside of work. If I have to do overtime, I obviously like, and if I have plans, then I'll just tell the person that I have plans with, hey, I'm gonna be a little late. Unfortunately, that happens. We literally cannot predict when we're gonna get out of work. Yeah, we have a set time on when we're gonna get out of work, but if something happens, we can't just leave. We need to stay there. Like, there's been so many times recently where I've had to stay over for a couple hours and there's nothing I can do. Thankfully, I didn't have plans those days. And you feel stupid because you're like, yeah, I made plans with these people to go do this thing, and now you feel like you're going back on your word, but it's out of your control. If you have a call, if you have something significant that has happened, you can't leave. You have to stay there until it's cleared up. That's just how the job goes, unfortunately. Let's talk about dating and my love life. Let's just say I don't really have much of a dating life. Love life, dating life, however you want to call it. I have been in the works of getting over a significant breakup, and I've just kind of been recuperating and working on myself. I know, does that sound cliche? You need time to fully feel like yourself again. So I'm starting to get better. I'm starting to feel better inside and out. But during my journey of getting to this point, I just have no interest in dating. Quite frankly, COVID happened, so it's like we couldn't really go out and meet people anyways. I don't like dating apps. I hate dating apps. It feels so unnatural to me, and I hate it so much. I hate the whole idea of like meeting someone on a screen and then seeing them in person. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. I have gone on dates off of like Bumble and what other crap is there, Hinge. I have gone on dates, but clearly they have not worked out. I'm more old school, quite honestly. I would much rather meet someone in person, play off of their demeanor, their character, you know, who they are, their personality, and then take it to another level instead of chatting on an app. That's just how I am. So I think to pick up the whole dating shenanigans, I might start doing hobbies that I enjoy, and maybe I'll find someone during that time. But currently right now, I do not have a dating life. I've just been going with the flow, spending as much time as I can with my family and friends and my pups. I'm gonna be 31 next month, and that is scary because, I mean, I'm 31. I'll be 31. Oy. And obviously I don't have a guy, which is fine. Like, I don't need a guy to live, obviously. I do such a good job being by myself. I'm very self-sufficient. But, you know, eventually you want someone, you know? You want that companionship. You want someone that is so into you as much as you're into them. So I think it's gonna happen for me one day, which I'm really excited about. And I can't wait to see who it is. But when it comes to actually dating, and I can only go by experience and like how it's occurred in the past. When they ask you, oh, what do you do for a living? And I tell them, oh, I'm a police officer. They seem like they get so weird and insecure just because like, oh, female cop, she doesn't need a guy, she's strong enough by herself. And then they just run out of there. It's like, I don't understand. Just because I have a good job and it's a male dominated job, like that doesn't mean that I don't need a guy in my life, or I don't want a guy in my life. So I have noticed that where once I do tell them that I'm a police officer, they kind of just lose interest, which sucks. But that just means that he wasn't for me. I do find dating a little difficult because of that, but I know the right guy will come along sooner or later. Also, another thing that I've noticed that once I've become a cop is when I get out of work, I want to be alone. I've been around people all day. This job has definitely turned me into a loner, where I would much rather be home with my dogs than out and about. Don't get me wrong, I still love hanging out with friends and family outside of my home, but this job, it's like, get me home. I do not want to be around anyone else. I want to be here where it's nice and quiet and I don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to deal with anyone. That's definitely some ways how the job has changed me, is because I just want to be alone now. And that in return makes it difficult to go out and meet people. I don't want to just date some random Joe Schmo. He needs to be a good guy, a gentleman, educated, the whole 9 yards. I think that that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I've learned how to balance my love life, my friends, my family, just through trial and error. You just find what works and you continue with that. Luckily, my friends and family are very understanding, and we just try to work with each other on what's best for our schedules and go from there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was kind of informative. Oh, my foot's asleep now. I love you guys so much, and until next time, I will talk to you later.